This is often called one of the most hopeful days in the IVF journey, and it is the embryo transfer day. But then it comes with a lot of questions and concerns by a lot of women undergoing the IVF process. So, can you just walk us through what a typical embryo transfer day looks like?
Oh, wow. Easy to do, I think. Just as easy as the procedure is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the simplest procedures in an IVF treatment, but it's the most sensitive procedure in the
Okay.
IVF treatment. Yeah, because it requires a lot of finesse. Yeah, it's done also in the let me call it in the procedure room, not necessarily in the operation room. There should be a procedure room where this is carried out, and usually a woman is just expected to come to the hospital or the facility, and not heavily made up.
Okay.
Yeah, because the perfumeries and all of that constitute a volatile organic compound that could contaminate the environment and as a result affect the outcome of not just her own IVF treatment but others' IVF treatment negatively. So it is a day without perfume for the woman. So they come not necessarily drinking water, but just having a little urine in the bladder.
Okay.
Yeah. So that the urine gives a direction to the uterus. I mean, creates a window for transfer. It makes it easy to do a transfer under the guide of an ultrasound. So on that day, the embryology just gives the news, if news is necessary to be given, the summary of the treatment, and the number of embryos that were generated. Then a decision on the number to be transferred is made. And usually with the aid of a catheter, the embryologist loads onto the catheter the agreed number of embryos to be transferred, confirmed by another embryologist, and then the process of transfer is done. It's just through the vagina, through the cervix. She's just cleaned, and the cervix is exposed using the speculum. So it's not uncomfortable. If at all it is, just mildly uncomfortable. The process of inserting the speculum. Then the catheter is a very tiny instrument or tiny structure,
Okay.
just like about 2 millimeters thick or 3 millimeters, that can easily go through the cervix, the external and internal os, without necessarily making so much trouble. So you could go in quietly and you deposit the embryos in the uterine cavity and you come out quietly. And then she leaves.
That's easy.
Yeah,
Wow.
she leaves. She leaves the operating room or the procedure room to just have a little rest
So she
in
doesn't
the
have to be
hospital before.
sedated.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be
So
sedated.
she's awake all through for
She's
this
awake.
procedure?
Yes, she's awake. Occasionally, you can even call her to look at what the embryos look like,
Wow.
so she knows what's going into her.
That's
Sometimes some of the IVF equipment are linked up to TV monitors that they can see what is going into them. So while the embryos have been selected, they could see.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so after this procedure is done, a lot of women have a lot of misconceptions about the aftermath of this procedure.
Yeah.
And so you hear women say that they shouldn't go back to their normal activity and they're requesting for like 2 weeks of work just because they had an embryo transfer in a way to preserve the embryos or to help implantation. Is that a thing or?
You can only share sentiments with these women because a good number of them have been through a lot before getting to a point of doing an IVF. And for a good number of them, that's the last resort. So they want to guard it as much as possible, including taking unnecessary, unacceptable excuses, that they have to be away from work for all that length of time. But we just have to share the sentiments because sometimes you have to help their psyche. They feel that is what is necessary to be done to make them succeed. But it's not true.
Okay.
It's just not true. The standard instruction is live your normal life. That's the standard instruction. Just live your normal life. Just take your medications that you're meant to be taking, which is the progesterone or estrogen or both, or injections, of HCG or progesterone injections, or depending on what the protocol is in the center you've done the IVF. Just be on the medication and live as peaceful as possible. No much stress. Don't work to the point of extreme tiredness, so you don't build an unnecessary oxidative stress within, but live your normal life.
Okay, so what's the duration from the day of egg retrieval up until the day of transfer?
Usually, most embryo transfers are done between day 5 and day 6, when the embryos have reached the blastocyst or are expanded or are about to hatch, and that's usually between day 5 and 6. But embryo transfers can be done on day 3 following egg collection, and that the results are not too different. Yes, although the 5 embryo transfer seems to be the most accepted, because it gives you a point to do a very good selection, because you've seen these embryos as they grow and as they cavitate, and the quality and grading is better on that day 5. So you could make a better judgment and selection, which may improve her chances as against the 3 that they are still manifesting and are in the state of cleavage or division. So it's usually 5 to 6 days.
So like you said, right, a lot of women undergoing this process are very emotional, very, very emotional.
Yeah.
And, they are concerned. Doctor, if I have 5 eggs fertilized, why don't you just put all and let me have all? Is there a recommended number of eggs that you should put in a woman during transfer?
Usually, depending on societies, some societies determine what works for them, which is based on the insurance or institutions that pays for healthcare. So some of these societies where insurance covers for the healthcare determines the number of embryos that should go, but this determination is based on health indices.
Okay.
So usually 1 or 2 is what is accepted, and the reason is this: it is safer carrying a singleton pregnancy than is a little safe carrying a twin pregnancies.
Okay.
But it is unthinkable having triplets, because it is burdensome. We only see those who have delivered triplets and these kids are grown to the stage that they are so adorable, but nobody cares to know what the mother goes through. For one triplet, for instance, that you see delivered, there are a lot of other triplets that were miscarried, or the mother nearly lose her life or went through hell to go through the pregnancy. And all of these have economic, health, or societal impact that are negative. So for the sake of safety, those who knows what is right will tolerate 1 or 2 embryos being transferred. So saying that you want 5 to be transferred is just unthinkable. It should not be done. For instance, I was in an European society working, and then one of our clients had triplets. You don't want to know what we went through to defend how that triplet happened.
Is it against the law?
It's against the law. We have to prove beyond limit that it was just a 2 embryo transfer. But even that, genetic analysis and other processes were used to confirm the number of embryos transferred, because it is a punishable offense to have a triplet. If it happens all by itself, spontaneously, all right, but not by the machination of a man.
So the maximum,
because health is a very important index in this society, and you shouldn't put the life of a woman in jeopardy. We're not talking of quadruplet, because that should earn you a jail term.
Wow. So you're saying that the safest number of embryos
is 1.
Just 1.
Yes.
I think a lot of women should hear this.
It's just
really.
1. It's just 1. Just that, of course, you see, when you're working assisted reproduction technology in Africa, for instance, where people pay from the pocket, your thought process and your decision process is a little different. You're trying to look at the dynamics that will make this woman want to achieve at least 1. because failure rate is higher if you do one embryo transfer.
Okay.
And of course, if you're doing one embryo transfer, you have to do so much to come to the point of selecting one, which includes pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, which is extremely
Very
expensive. And then, but it makes you make a good decision of a normal embryo. Embryo is never certified to be normal until you've done pre-implantation genetic diagnosis. So in situations where you're not doing pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, you can play with 2 or 3 because one or two of them may not be normal, in which case they may not become pregnant.
So it's just the probability.
So it's a probability thing that 1 or 2 will say, or occasionally the 3 will stay. So that is what you see the difference in assisted reproduction technology here in Africa, Nigeria, and in the Western society. So back to my case in Europe.
Yeah.
We had to prove that this was genetic panels were called to ascertain independently how triplets occur. But this is a society that places high importance on the quality of the health of a woman. So while we celebrate triplets here or quadruplets here, it is almost criminalized in some Western countries. In Switzerland, for instance, whatever you're doing is one embryo transfer.
Wow.
Yes, you're going to be doing. So societal differences and health insurance differences and the sponsors of this health. If you're the one sponsoring it, to determine, because you see, if a woman has complication of triplets, for instance, it is still falling onto the trust to take care of her. So it's going to cost the trust so much money, and then the comfort to the woman's life. And then these babies may be delivered preterm. And the care of a preterm baby is much more than the cost of IVF.
Wow.
Who pays the bill? But of course, if you're paying all the bills by yourself and you want to risk your life in Africa and Nigeria, well, maybe it's tolerable. But I guess we may get to the point where all of this will become very important. But safety should be the watchword.
I think safety should be the watchword.
So here you look at the premorbid condition of the woman, if she had had deliveries before, if she had had surgeries before, if the quality of embryos, you put all of this together before you determine the number to go with. But I feel with whatever you're doing, you have no business going beyond 3.
So
there are people that has to be 1, even if you're doing in Africa, Nigeria.
Okay, so
because you can't risk so much.
Why? Why is that so?
No, because
the condition of the
mother. The condition of the mother. A woman with diabetes, for instance, why do you want to make her have twins? It should just be 1. Because it makes even the management of her diabetic condition difficult. And then she could have problems with the babies. So you have to put the woman in perspective as a whole and her economic condition. If she has some women borrowed this money, loaned this money, sell properties and cars to do IVF, and maybe the money is just enough to do IVF. So if you have multiple pregnancy and you're going to do neonatal care, who pays for that? Where does the money come from? If you're not having any insurance cover.
So who makes this decision? Is it the fertility expert?
Well, it's expected that the fertility expert should lead the decision.
Okay.
The woman should make her decision, the couple should make the decision, but it should be guided decision by the expert so that it's safe for them, because they are lay people. I've had women who say, oh, put all the 10 embryos. Shut up. It's not me and you that are doing this business, okay? Some say, oh, doctor, if you know what I've been through, you've not been through anything yet. We have to be safe, both of us, because if a woman is not safe, you are not safe. So it has to be safe. That's the watchword. Just have to be safe.
Okay. So now let's come to the part of implantation. Are these things, because a lot of women are very concerned and, so they begin to do things. What are the things that they are expected to do to guarantee implantation? Because they've heard a lot.
Nothing. It's practically nothing. They just live the normal life.
Wow.
One thing women do is this. They lay in bed for 14 days. Yes. And then because they've done IVF, everybody was like, hey, this one is no-go area. Just don't touch her.
her.
Don't even rub creams. They don't rub pomade. Wow. They don't have their bath.
So all of that.
What my women do? Jesus Christ.
Can you imagine? So all of that.
And then you have a phone call. Hey, Ken, I'm having waist pain. I say, hold on. I think they give you waist pain. She's been laying in bed, and they lay in bed just like this, like cadavers.
Flat. Oh my God.
And because the notion is this, if you lie on your tummy, you'll be lying on the babies. Who told them that the babies are in the tummy? The babies are behind the bone, the pubic bone, where the uterus is. So they lay this way. And for how long can you lie this way? You definitely have waist pain. You know, they say they have waist pain. And of course, you know, we don't like hearing waist pain because it means the uterus is like contracting. So, okay, wait, let's understand. Are you lying? Who asked you? This is my friend who did IVF. Yes, says so. This one who did IVF. No. When you lay put, you restrict blood flow to the uterus.
Okay.
And that is a negative factor for implantation and progress of pregnancy. Wow. So move around. Let the blood circulate. But women will not want to listen to that. They climb up to second story and they will never step down until pregnancy test is done.
You can't blame them.
In fact, there is a woman we did an embryo transfer for. I hope she's listening to this video. So I'm not mentioning names. When we finish the embryo transfer, I say, madam, it's time to get back to your bed. Say, doctor, wait till you talk.
You won't make I stand up, make you fall down.
That's what she said. How do you know when you there?
Imagine.
She said, I know they come down. I said, what do you mean? We have to continue this work now. You know, I need to come down. He said, you go drop now. I said, for where? See, madam, nothing is dropping here. It's inside. The uterus has a valve.
Wow.
Nothing goes in, comes out.
A lot of them do not understand this.
My story hasn't finished. Then she came down of the table. Yes. I mean the transfer table. Then she was walking with her legs crossed.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
It's funnier than I expected.
This way. I said, madam, why are you walking this way? Oh Lord, I've seen a lot of things. She said, I don't want it to drop.
It's funny, but then it's...
I was like, okay, we just have to let this woman be. We had to send for a wheelchair. I said, okay, let's end this drama. Madam, sit on this wheelchair, let's wheel it to your bed. It was funny for her, it was also funny for us. You know? So those are the things that women do. There's another story. We asked them to, you know, they used to have some bladder.
Yes.
Urine in the bladder. Yeah. So you could do ultrasound scan with some precision, you know. And we finished embryo transfer. And I observed that the women were not coming down from the transfer table, from the couch.
Oh my God.
When I come down, I said, no, I need to come down.
What's going on here?
I didn't come down now. They were all refusing. We now went to investigate. They said they realized that when women come down and eventually go to ease themselves, the pregnancy falls off.
Oh my goodness.
I said, oh, this is a big problem here. Seriously. So we had to start emptying the bladder.
Okay.
So they can just come down and allow the work to flow. But this is what women educate themselves. Nobody tells them this. You know, nobody tells them that. So they just live normal life. But I think they shouldn't have intercourse.
Okay.
Because intercourse, the process of orgasm, for instance, uterine contractions happen, you know, and contractions increase the waves, contractile waves of the endometrium. And you have these primitive structures, embryos there, may affect implantation or may disrupt the process of implantation. But it doesn't mean when they have intercourse, this must happen. But you just want to avoid that, you know. So that's what I would like to advise. But just live normal life. Eat healthy. Be happy. Listen to music. Worship God. Go to church or mosques if you have to. And just be free. Don't just walk to the point of tiredness. And of course, take your medications. Implantation, how implantation comes about is beyond all these things that people imagine.
Okay, so but do you think that the woman's emotional state can affect implantation?
Very important. Emotions is good. That's what the Bible says a merry heart does good like medicine. Yes. So whatever it is, the woman should keep a happy mood. You know, so the husband shouldn't annoy her unnecessarily. Even if the husband does, she shouldn't respond. She should wait until a healthy time. Then we'll tell her when to go back for a revenge.
I'm sure after the test day.
So yeah, the emotions are good. It's good to keep the emotions in check. But
Okay.
happy emotions, sweet moods, I mean good moods, are actually encouraged.
Oh, that's great.
Encouraged, yeah.
So, how long does she take before she goes for the pregnancy
Just
test?
2 weeks.
Okay,
Yeah, 2 weeks.
14 days
Yeah,
exactly.
sometimes from 10 days afterwards, after embryo transfer, pregnancy test becomes positive for some people, but 2 weeks is the standard
2
time.
weeks is standard
Yeah, so
time.
those are some of the things you need to know about embryo
Transfer.
transfer. It's an interesting period,
Mm.
but the waiting period is like a torture
Oh
for
my
most
God.
women. Yeah, like a torture, and that's because they keep to themselves. They don't socialize. They feel they have to stay put in one
Mm-hmm.
place. They don't even need to tell somebody what's going on because yeah, it's not good. So when you don't interact, you keep a lot to yourself, and then you think more about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So the 2 week waiting period becomes like a torture to you.
And that can affect the implantation in the
Oh
long
well,
run.
maybe or maybe not. I don't have any statistics to tell on
Okay.
that.
Okay.
So that's just it. It's a very interesting period, and for us, we're happy to have ended the treatment at that point and wait for when our own anxiety
It
comes, which
starts.
is the day of pregnancy test.
Yes. Okay. So you've heard it. Embryo transfer day is a seamless day.